As we continue the journey through the Absolute Universe, I think it's important to note that the horrors of the Absolute Batman run and the tragedies found in Absolute Superman are not representative of other characters in this universe. Enter Absolute Wonder Woman, a new series crafted by Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, and Matias Vergara alongside the rest of the creative team that shows that Darkseid might not admit it, but he has favorites. This is a Wonder Woman who was removed from Themyscira. As a result, she was not raised with her sisters in paradise. Instead, she was raised in hell by the witch Circe, and what we're about to dive into feels like a modern classic in the making. So strap in everyone, because we're getting into the first 2 volumes of Absolute Wonder Woman. We start off our tale with a freaked out reporter in Gateway City, California, as he and his cameraman are getting coverage of a mysterious floating upside down pyramid at the beach. Suddenly, another figure appears riding atop the skeleton of a Pegasus, and as they slice through the monsters, not only do they show which side they're on, but reveal that they are indeed Wonder Woman. The narration describes the princess as one who had all the gifts one could hope to have: beauty, grace, compassion, kindness, wisdom, and the ability to conjure the darkest magics. And with that, we start the first arc of the series, The Last Amazon. We turn the page to a time long ago as we see Circe trapped in hell on the Wild Isle. She's suddenly visited by the god of the sun, Apollo, as he gives her a child. He claims that the child is the last Amazon who was taken from her original home by Zeus as punishment for their crimes against the gods. He also goes on to state that she may never again be reunited with her sisters, and that Circe will not be allowed to say the word Amazon ever again. While she was initially reluctant to raise the child, she was moved by her, and as the years progressed, she came to love and cherish her. She even expresses that Diana's presence in her life transformed her for the better. When we cut back to the present, we find out that the monsters she killed were merely stunned, and they aren't even the main threat. In fact, the next big bad that appears, the Harbinger Prime, is basically just a mini-boss. The two duke it out, but brute strength alone isn't enough to vanquish this foe, so she brings out her iconic lasso, except this time it's not a lasso that compels whoever's bound to tell the truth, but instead a lasso that burns relative to the person's sin. And this monster has sinned. And that's issue number 1, a pretty lore-heavy issue that really sets the stage for this version of Wonder Woman as one who is as close to her Earth counterpart as could be in terms of personality, but is distinct in tools, abilities, and childhood. The volume as a whole follows a similar structure as the first issue. Whenever Diana is in a bind or we meet a new character, like Steve, we're taken back to a relevant experience that Diana has had in Hell to either accomplish the said goal or inform us on the relationships that she's developing. The bulk of the volume is the Last Amazon arc, as we see her face against the Tetracide, which she describes as death personified. We learn more about her abilities and connections to the goddesses of this universe, her sacrifice to ensure that Steve is able to be resurrected, and just how far she's willing to go to fulfill her intended purpose as a bringer of justice to the world. Additionally, we get some hints that the gods of this universe understand that things are not as they should be, alluding to the chaos that Darkseid has brought forth when creating the universe. And once we've wrapped up that story, we're given a brief look into how she crafted some of her iconic weapons, and it's revealed that she has 3 distinct lassos. Furthermore, we finish off the first volume with the reveal of how she was able to escape hell. Overall, this volume serves as a great stage setter for this universe's Wonder Woman, her incoming struggles, and who she is in spite of the chaos in the world. The most interesting aspects of the story aren't just the new lore and perspectives she now has by way of being raised by Circe, but the major implications of how she's part of a grander design. This Wonder Woman is one of immense importance to the future of this universe, receiving justice and achieving equilibrium. Diana herself is also just an unwavering individual that inspires others and demands respect with her skill and selflessness. She sometimes towers over others, but she's never above showing tenderness, warmth, and thanks when it's appropriate. While a lot of what makes Diana Diana lies innately within her, who she is in times of crisis was essentially crafted by her mother, or should I say, mothers. And that is my rough transition into Volume 2, As My Mothers Made Me. We begin this volume with two major points. Firstly, Diana utilizes various birds to hopefully send a message to her lost sisters. And secondly, we're properly introduced to director Veronica Cale, a presumably looming antagonist within the series that works within Area 41. As the name suggests, Area 41 is an underground facility that contains various otherworldly secrets, those that know about them, weapons, and monsters beyond our wildest dreams. But what is Cale here for? As it turns out, Dr. Poison is held captive in the facility and is being forced to work for her as an inventor of sorts. Speaking of which, she's provided with a recording of the Tetraside's roar and is ordered to make use of it for a new invention, presumably to further study Wonder Woman. What follows this is Diana creating her base of operations and home on Earth by way of magic and legally owning the land through an LLC. Do we know how she got the money? No. Does it really matter? No, not really. Anyway, after getting settled in for only a few moments, Diana jumps to action after hearing a sound similar to that of the Tetraside. After a brief investigation, she finds out that the sound is coming from thousands of little mechanical spiders. Eventually, she finds the source of the transmission and interrogates Dr. Poison after she reveals that she knows another Amazon is hidden away within a maze in Area 41. After disabling the Tetra spiders, Diana remains captivated by the prospect of meeting a long-lost sister. She follows the words of Poison and enters the maze. Here we meet some unlikely allies in Ferdinand and Petra. Through them, we find out that the menfish that were attacking them follow a woman named Clea, or Clea. But once the trio bump into her, well, Diana reaches the only logical conclusion. She's not an Amazon. What ensues after this meeting is a battle and a retreat that ensures Petra is able to exit the maze. However, Wonder Woman is not unkind and would never dare to leave Ferdinand behind. As she makes her way through the maze, she comes into contact with a powerful hallucinogen that ironically leads her exactly to where she needed to go. However, unable to think clearly, Clea takes advantage of this and tosses a scientist she was holding hostage down a pit. Diana, of course, dives in after him, but her hallucinations become stronger, and out of fear of not hurting the scientist, she basically knocks herself out. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows, orders the scientist to pretend to die, and then takes him and Diana away. Once Diana wakes up, she's greeted by the sister she was looking for. A wonderful and tender moment that's elevated by the reveal that Io has been taking care of those in the maze, illustrating the importance of community. Now, I don't want to spoil just how they're able to escape the hole or the maze, so you'll just have to take my word for it when I say that it is baller as fuck. I also won't mention the most important reveal in the volume, strictly because it had my jaw on the floor, and I won't take that away from you. The final two issues of the volume see Diana fight against an entity that's equally matched to her. While those two issues feature some great world building and action, the main takeaway is that Zatanna is working against Wonder Woman in this world. And that final point is what leads us into Volume 3. But that's it for now. The story of Wonder Woman isn't so much of trying to find her place in the world, but one of trying to live up to the expectations placed upon her as a child of glorious purpose. The art and storytelling in these books are great, but I do have some small issues that I hope are addressed in later volumes. Primarily, I don't think that the side characters in the series, so far at least, have offered much in terms of depth and intrigue. In fact, I would go as far as to say that they're primarily used as set dressing and plot devices rather than characters who exist outside of Diana's purview. As a result, the struggles that Diana goes through in the book feel less interpersonal despite her character being one of immense introspection and emotional capability. Even so, I won't say that the story isn't worth your time and attention, since it's quite well constructed in other aspects and it's very good at hitting those thematic points it wants to hit when it comes to Wonder Woman. She's an iconic diva throughout. I think that things will get more interesting with Zatanna as we continue the series, but until then, that's pretty much it for this breakdown. But what do you think? Is Absolute Wonder Woman really an iconic diva, or is the story more fluff than stuff? I'd love to have a discussion with you all about this in the comments below. If you liked this video, consider subscribing, as I'll be making more content like this in the future. Thank you all for watching. It's your boy Foster, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.